music.
Coming up in an hour, New Music Fix Daily. This is BBC Radio.
BBC Radio.
6 Music.
It's Justice and Waters of Nazareth on 6 Music. Emily Pilbeam with you, and Justice are with me in the studio now. Welcome to the show. How are you feeling?
Good, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. Thanks so much for joining me in the studio. I feel like we've got so much to talk about, but I want to take it back to, well, the track that we just played, your first single, Waters of Nazareth. It came out in 2005, nearly 20 years since that release. How do you feel hearing that music now? Do you still feel a connection to that music now?
Yeah, for us, like this track and the following album are still mysteries.
We don't know how such obscure music found a way to an audience. And actually, this track, it took a long time for it to be heard. I remember, like, when we received the test pressings, we were thinking, wow, what did we do? Like, it felt like we made like a suicide, like an artistic suicide. No, I'm not kidding you. Huh?
Why did it feel like that?
But because, like, at the time, like, when we were DJing, we were still playing vinyls. And whenever we would play this track in, like, festivals, as soon as the track was starting, we had like all the sound technicians rushing on stage, trying to fix the turntables because it sounded like there was a problem on the system. Like we remember like feedbacks of friends telling us, yeah, okay, like I think there's a problem on the pressing because the track sounds very wrong. And finally, maybe like 6 months or 1 year after, we started getting positive feedback. Actually, the two only people who made immediate good feedbacks on the track was Errol Alkan and Too Many DJs. So they were the first one who said, great, we're going to play this. And for the rest, it took a bit more time. And
what made you stick with the track then, if you were kind of getting not the best feedback to begin with?
We had no choice. It was out. And we were very slow at making music. So this one was out, and then we were like starting thinking about what to do next.
It's been so long since your debut and a long time since your last release. And I guess I'm quite curious to know how it feels for you that the music industry has changed and evolved with every release, because it feels like it changes a lot.
Yeah, it does. And we perpetually feel like we are newcomers. Like every time we come back for a record or a tour, we really feel like beginners, like rookies. And we're discovering a new world every time, you know. In 8 years, sometimes there are bands that split and they make a reunion tour. I think it's like almost the lifespan of the Beatles or Led Zeppelin, you know. So for us, everything is new. Like we have no idea who is gonna listen to this record. So it's all discoveries, and it's kind of exciting at the same time. And because we are like almost completely ignorant, we can only be surprised, and hopefully in a good way.
Why did you decide to take a hiatus?
The thing is that it appears like 8 years, but we did Woman like in 2017. 16, sorry. And then we toured for about 2-3 years. Then we shot that concert movie called Iris. Then I went on to record my solo album.
Before that, we made Woman Worldwide too.
Yeah. And then the pandemic happened.
Yeah, we never really stopped. We were just making things. And the truth is that we're also very slow at making music. We just like taking the time, and we don't know how to work otherwise.
How do you know when you're kind of ready to release something if you do kind of take your time with it?
It's really a gut feeling. Like you always know inside, like whatever people are giving you as a feedback, you always know if it's ready or not. When we started working on the record in summer 2020, we really started with the mindset that we had unlimited time to make it, because we're already too late to be on time. So we're like, okay, let's start, let's see how it goes. We almost have this rule that we work every other week. So we work 1 week, then we take a break, we come back in the studio with fresh ears. And sometimes even within that week of work, we're going to spend like 2 hours at the studio, then do something else, because sometimes you don't need more. But it's more like a marathon, you know. And technically, we could have released the album 1 year earlier by rushing a bit the end. But we thought we haven't spent that much of time to rush the end, so let's take 1 more year, lose our mind a little bit more, and then finish the record exactly as we wanted it to be.
Yeah. We'll talk all about the collaborations on the new record, because there's quite a few, and this one that we're about to play, Justice featuring Miguel, I absolutely love this track. So let's get this on and we'll talk all about it. This is Justice and Miguel on Six Music with Saturnine.
Flashes and waves don't try to save me now, and it always hits the same way. Only the sun could ever phase me out, so I'm still dancing in the flames. But
Justice and Miguel and Saturnine on Six Music, and Justice are in the studio with me now. Let's talk about that collaboration. How did that come about? What made you want to work with Miguel?
We've been introduced to Miguel's music through Mara Carlyle. She's a British lady that we worked with on Woman. She was basically coordinating and looking after all the orchestral sessions, and there was a lot on Woman. And one day as we were working, she told us, "Oh, you guys should check out Miguel." And she played us the Valley, which is like a very non-suitable for work song. And we immediately loved it because it's like R&B, but it's much more than R&B. We could hear like industrial music in that. And coincidentally, he got in touch with us a year after to try to make music. And since then, we've been a bit like you have two dogs meeting and they smell each other bum, you know, just to see what can happen.
And did you go over to Hollywood to do that track? How was that?
Yeah, it was fun. Like for most of the singers, we went to LA to record them, but mostly because it would have been a bit disappointing just to send files over and not to be in the same room with them. And the three of them, like for Miguel and Kevin Parker, we had rented a studio, and at first they all went behind the glass, and at some point they just got bored and it was too weird for everybody, so we ended up like writing lyrics and recording everything, the three of us in the same room on a couch. And it was just very productive and fun and more like collaborative.
What made you want to work with Kevin Parker? I mean, I adore him. I think he's great. And he seems to be doing loads of collabs with people at the minute.
We loved his music since the very beginnings. And we were always bumping into him in festivals and stuff like that. And he has such a peculiar way of writing melodies. Like he is really good at writing growers. You know, like first you listen to them and you're like, okay, this is sweet, this is cool, and then you go to see them live and you're like, okay, it's just hits. You know, like those very simple but still very specific hooks.
We always felt like he was a natural match to our music. Like some of the guests on this record, we knew that there was a common ground and that something would be possible, but like knowing Kevin's music, it's been 10 years, we're thinking it would be natural at some point to try something, and that was the right time.
And you've worked with a band called The Flints, who I believe are based in Manchester. How did you find them?
I think because somebody like tagged me in one of snippets of their songs, and this is how I found out about them, and I was like, wow, this is really good.
I mean, it must have been super exciting for them to be hit up by Justice, right?
Yeah, same for us.
As it was for us, like it's always great, like to find out about a new band. Like sometimes we almost feel like vampires, like looking for the freshest blood possible. And they're super talented twins, George and Henry. And if you're listening to us, hi guys.
Yeah.
Who else is on your hit list of people to collaborate with?
But there was like Conan Mocassin, and he's on one of the songs. Mm-hmm. The first time we've been introduced to his music was via Errol Alkan, who produced his first albums. And I remember like vividly, like the first time he played that to me, I was really unsettled by the voice, by the music, by everything, because Conan, he really gave birth to almost like a scene of rock, kind of like slacker rock, you know, where everything's a bit wobbly. And but the first time we heard that, maybe in the early 2010s, I found it just like too weird for me. But then, like all good things, you start to understand it. And by the fifth time, you can't live without it, you know. So no, basically, like the 6 people that are on this album, or 6 entities, they were really a dream list for us, famous or not famous yet.
Yeah. We'll talk a little bit more after this. Do you want to tell me a little bit about this track from you? It's Incognito. What can you tell me about that track?
Yeah, like a lot of tracks on hyperdrama. Incognito is really a good way of like picturing it is imagining if you have like two tracks playing at the same time. One is like futuristic, all electronic. The other one is like an instrumental jam played by humans, and they're running like simultaneously, and you just jump from one to another, almost like if there was a portal between the two. And you step in, it's like all night and like the stars are bright, and then you go on the other side and it's like the jungle and it's like daylight, it's like sweaty. And on this record, like One Night a Night is the same, you know, it starts like all ravey, then you are all disco, then you are all ravey again. And Incognito, it's one of the first tracks we recorded, really going by the idea that we'll write the song as it goes, like we wrote the opening section. When it was done, we're like, okay, where do we want to go now? Even if it doesn't really make sense musically, and just like built brick by brick, without taking in account anything that we know about like how to structure a song to make it like catchy or like verse, chorus, whatever. It's really like just pouring out of us like this.
Let's get it on then. This is Justice and Incognito on Six Music. Justice and Incognito on Six Music. It's Emily Pilbeam with you, and Justice are with me in the studio. Let's talk all about the album then, because I've heard that on the record you've drawn from disco to gabba and hardcore, two genres that I feel are kind of on the opposite ends of the spectrum. What kind of attracted you to those kinds of genres?
But these are just two styles of music that we love for different reasons. And actually, we thought, like you, that they were really opposite, almost like at the opposite side of the spectrum. But indeed, when we started diving a bit into the world of hardcore, we kind of noticed that a lot of the hardcore tracks are based on soul and disco sample that are like so high pitched and accelerated that it becomes what it is. And one of the most famous hardcore stab is a James Brown sample. And basically, we made like a couple of tracks on this record by making a hardcore track, and then by pitching it out and slowing it, so it becomes more like a disco track. And it felt very natural for us to confront these two aesthetics. And hopefully at the end, it doesn't even sound like a style exercise, but we hope it sounds kind of natural.
I want to talk about Justice live, because I've not seen you guys perform live yet, but I spent my New Year's Eve when we hit midnight watching a Justice tribute band at my local venue.
Okay, wow.
How do you feel about that?
It's crazy.
Great.
I can't believe. I didn't know. It's like, we feel very flattered that there are musicians investing their time into making a tribute to a band in which members are still alive.
I'll have to show you a little video of it in a bit.
That must be great. Was it good?
Oh, it was so much fun. You must be excited to be back at Glastonbury, because I watched a video of the 2017 performance, and that looked pretty epic. Was it epic for you guys?
Yeah, we have good memories of Glastonbury. I think I almost I did something stupid, because there's a lot of flags, and someone handed me one, and I just threw it like a javelot without thinking that I could potentially kill someone. Thanks God nothing happened. And for those who've never been, it is exactly what you imagine it to be, Glastonbury.
Are you going to bring any guests on stage?
No, everything is still uncertain, but there are two things that we know are unmovable. It's that we are always two on stage, and that our album covers are always going to be a cross.
You're also going to be doing Coachella soon as well. That must be a pretty special festival for you as well.
Yeah, it is. It's there that we played our first ever live show back in 2007. And this happened right at the moment when we finished our first album and was not released yet. So basically, after we played our show at Coachella, we felt so liberated, because our album was done, first live show was done, and it went good. It was not a crazy show in any way, but it went very well. We played in an afternoon in the Sarah tent. And whenever we step in Coachella, I really feel this kind of holidays vibe. And it's pretty special. Coachella is the opposite of Glastonbury. It's sunny. People are not wearing a Wellington.
It sounds like you've got an amazing summer ahead. Good luck with the release of the album. Can you tell me about this track that you're going to play for us? You've picked a tune for us. Tell me all about the artist and the song, and we'll stick it on. Yeah,
we're going to listen to OPR by Gezafelstein. And for those who don't know, he's a French electronic artist. Had his new album out. It's called Gamma. And to us in France, it was the last sonic revolution that happened in the electronic music on a big scale, because then he did huge stuff with The Weeknd or whatever. But he still keeps on digging his own groove, and the new album is really, really good.
Yeah, it's definitely the most exciting electronic music we've been listening to for the last 10 years, probably.
Amazing. Let's get this on then. Thank you so much for joining me in the studio, and have a lovely rest of your day.
Thanks for your time. Take care.
sound of Gusserfelstein with OPR, as chosen by our guest Justice. Big thanks to them for coming in and talking all about their fourth album, Hyperdrama, which is coming out on the 26th of April. We'll be back with some music from Chuck Chuck and Dubstar right after the latest Six Music news.
Six Music. This is BBC Radio. Six Music.